Imagine this, a world without smartphones, tablets, or video games. Sounds like a nightmare, doesn't it? But not so long ago, this was the reality. In fact, 5 centuries back, children's play was vastly different. Picture a child in the 16th century, no television, no internet, no electronic games. How, you may ask, did they ever have fun? Now envision contemporary children caught in a conundrum, trying to navigate this world of traditional games without a pixel in sight. It's quite a sight, isn't it? The struggle to understand the concept of play that doesn't involve a screen or a joystick. The bewilderment at a wooden hoop and stick or a game of marbles. The frustration of not being able to simply switch on a device and start playing. But here's a revelation. Children of the past were not at a loss for entertainment. They were not sitting around twiddling their thumbs, yearning for a game console. They were engaged, active, and imaginative. Their games were not just about passing time, but also about learning, about understanding the world around them, about preparing for adulthood. They didn't need batteries or Wi-Fi, they had creativity and camaraderie. And believe it or not, they were having fun, a lot of fun. Without the beeps and buzzes of electronics, without the flashing lights of a screen, they were laughing, running, strategizing, and inventing. Their world of play was vibrant, dynamic, and real. So, how did children have fun 500 years ago? Let's hop into our time machine and find out. Welcome to the 16th century. No electricity, no internet, no problem. Imagine a world where the clatter of keyboards and the ping of notifications are replaced by the rustling of leaves and the chirping of birds. This was the reality of children in the 16th century, a time when the closest thing to a smartphone was a quill and parchment, and the only cloud was the one floating lazily across the sky. The absence of technology wasn't a limitation, but rather an invitation. An invitation to engage with the world in a more tactile and imaginative way. It forced children to be resourceful, to create their own entertainment from the world around them. A stick could become a sword, a stone could transform into a precious jewel, and a patch of dirt could be a canvas for a masterpiece. The society and culture of the 16th century played a significant role in shaping these games. Children were often seen as little adults, expected to take on household chores and responsibilities from an early age. This reality seeped into their play, leading to games that mirrored the adult world. Boys would often engage in physical contests like wrestling and races, while girls would play house with handmade dolls and miniature furniture. Interestingly, these games weren't just about fun. They served as a learning platform, teaching children valuable skills they would need in adulthood. Games that involved strategy and negotiation honed decision-making and social skills. Physical games developed strength and endurance. Even the seemingly simple act of playing with dolls helped girls understand and emulate nurturing behaviors. The 16th century was a time of simplicity, yet the games from this era were far from simple. They were a reflection of the society, a tool for learning, and a testament to the limitless creativity of children. In the absence of technology, children of the past found joy in the simple, the natural, and the tangible. Now that we've set the scene, let's delve into the popular games of the time. In a time without plastic or batteries, what did children play with, you ask? Well, let's take a trip down the memory lane to the 16th century, a time when toys and games were crafted from what nature had to offer. Picture this: a group of children engrossed in a game of knucklebones, a popular pastime that involved tossing and catching small bones, much like the modern game of jacks. Imagine the thrill of outmaneuvering your friends in a lively round of blind man's buff, a game that tested your senses and agility. Now let's talk toys. A common sight would have been children playing with wooden swords, their imaginations running wild with epic tales of bravery and adventure. Dolls, too, were a beloved companion for many. These weren't your mass-produced plastic dolls of today, but simple homemade creations, often crafted from cloth and straw. Balls, a timeless favorite, were made from natural materials like pig's bladder, filled with dried peas or beans and stitched up with leather. The soft thud of these balls would echo through the streets as children engaged in games of stool ball, an early precursor to cricket or baseball. Board games, though not as complex as the ones we know today, were a source of endless entertainment. Nine Men's Morris, a strategy game that required the alignment of 3 pieces in a row, was a common sight, with game boards etched into the surfaces of public tables and even church pews. And then there were the spinning tops, whittled from a single piece of wood. The simple joy of watching these tops spin, wobble, and finally topple over was a universal delight. But these games were not just for fun, they also served an important educational purpose. Learning through play isn't a new concept. It was just as important in the 16th century as it is today. The children of yesteryears weren't just amusing themselves with their wooden swords and handmade dolls. They were also gearing up for the world of adulthood, learning vital skills that would serve them well in their later lives. Let's consider the wooden sword fights, for instance. They may seem like a simple pastime, but these mock battles were instrumental in teaching children about strategy and physical coordination. They had to think on their feet, anticipate their opponent's moves, and respond swiftly. It was a playful yet practical way of preparing for possible future roles, whether as soldiers, knights, or even as strategists in the royal court. Handmade dolls, on the other hand, were more than just playthings. They were tools for social education. When girls played with these dolls, they were unknowingly rehearsing their future roles as mothers and caregivers. They learned about nurturing, empathy, and responsibility, lessons that were invaluable in their adult lives. Even the simple ball games played with balls made from natural materials were not just about fun. They were about teamwork, communication, and coordination. Such games fostered a sense of camaraderie among the children, teaching them the importance of working together towards a common goal. Board games, too, were not just about passing time. They were brain trainers, challenging the children to think strategically, to plan, and to make decisions. These games nurtured their problem-solving skills and stimulated their intellectual growth. So, you see, playtime in the 16th century was not merely about amusement. It was a time of learning, of growth, and of preparation for the future. The games may have been simple, but they were effective tools for teaching life skills. Now, how do these games compare to the ones children play today? From wooden swords to virtual reality headsets, games have certainly evolved over the centuries. It's hard to imagine, but the thrill of the chase in a game of tag, the suspense of a hide-and-seek countdown, or the strategic maneuvering of chess, all have their roots in the 16th century. Let's take a whimsical journey back to the past. Imagine swapping your high-tech, multifunctional gaming console for a simple wooden hoop and stick. Sounds like a downgrade, doesn't it? But picture the pure, unadulterated joy of a child, 500 years ago, as they sent that hoop rolling down a hill, chasing after it with gleeful abandon. That, my friends, is timeless fun. Or consider the humble doll, lovingly carved from wood or sewn from scraps of cloth. Now contrast that with today's smart dolls, capable of walking, talking, and even learning from their interactions with children. Yet, despite the technological leap, the purpose remains the same: to spark imagination, encourage empathy, and provide comfort. Even board games have their origins in the past. The strategic thinking required to win at a game of nine men's Morris in the 16th century is not so different from the skills needed to conquer the virtual worlds of today's video games. But what can modern children learn from the games of their ancestors? For starters, the value of simplicity. Not every activity needs a digital screen or a power source. Creativity and imagination can turn the simplest objects into sources of endless entertainment. Additionally, these old games teach persistence, physicality, and social interaction, skills that are just as important today as they were half a millennium ago. Games have changed, but the joy of playing remains the same. Be it a wooden hoop or a virtual reality headset, the laughter, the competition, the camaraderie, they're all part of the timeless magic of play. If you're curious about what other secrets the past holds and want to add a dash of historical fun to your life, then brace yourself for a time-traveling adventure. Don't worry, no DeLorean or flux capacitor required. All you need is a sense of curiosity and a click of a button. Yes, you heard it right. Just by hitting that subscribe button, you're signing up for a journey through the fascinating world of history. So, are you ready to trade your joystick for a wooden sword? Swap your VR headset for a game of marbles? If your answer is a resounding yes, then we've got you covered. We promise to deliver engaging content filled with intriguing facts and amusing anecdotes right to your screen. So what are you waiting for? Hit that subscribe button and join us on this journey through time. So next time you're bored, why not try a game from the 16th century? It might seem like a leap to trade your video games for a wooden sword or a homemade ball, but the past has a lot to teach us. We've journeyed together through the rich tapestry of play in the 16th century, from simple wooden toys to games that taught children essential skills for adulthood. These games, though centuries old, were not just about fun. They were a crucial part of a child's development, teaching them physical abilities, strategic thinking, and social skills. They allowed children to mimic the world of adults and prepare themselves for the responsibilities that awaited them. In comparison, today's games, while entertaining and technologically advanced, often lack the fundamental elements of physical interaction and imaginative play. The games of the past required more than just a screen. They required creativity, resourcefulness, and an understanding of the world around them. So ask yourself, what can we learn from the games of the past? Perhaps it's the simple joy of play, unencumbered by technology. Perhaps it's the importance of imagination and creativity. Or maybe it's the reminder that play is more than just fun, it's a vital part of our growth and development. Why not take a step back from the digital world and explore the games of the past, maybe even attempt to recreate them? Challenge yourself to a game of Nine Men's Morris or try your hand at making a homemade ball. Who knows, you might discover a newfound appreciation for the games our ancestors played. And remember, play is timeless. It transcends cultures and centuries, connecting us all in a shared experience of joy and discovery. Games from the past can become a window into a different time, offering us a glimpse into the lives of the children who played them. If you've made it this far, leave a comment saying, "I'm clever." Thanks for watching, and until next time, keep playing. Let's delve deeper into the world of 16th century playtime. Picture yourself as a child in that era. No screens, no batteries, just a world of imagination at your fingertips. You might have played with a wooden sword pretending to be a knight defending your kingdom, or perhaps you had a homemade doll, crafted from scraps of fabric and filled with straw. The ball you kicked around in the yard, it was made from tightly wound strips of leather or cloth. And those board games, they were hand-drawn on pieces of wood or slate, the pieces carved from bone or stone. These toys were not bought from a store, but made at home with whatever materials were available. The making of these toys was a craft, a labor of love, often passed down from generation to generation. Each toy was unique, carrying the marks of its maker, telling its own story. These toys required something that many of today's toys do not: imagination. A wooden sword wasn't just a piece of wood, it was a weapon of a brave knight. A homemade doll wasn't just a bundle of fabric, it was a cherished friend. These toys sparked creativity, encouraged role-play, and taught children to be resourceful. These toys may seem simple by today's standards, but they were cherished possessions that brought joy and learning to children of the 16th century. They were tools for creativity, imagination, and growth. And most importantly, they were a reminder that play is not about the most expensive or technologically advanced toys, but about the joy of imagination and the power of play. So as we step back into the present, let's remember to carry with us the lessons of the past, the simplicity, creativity, and resourcefulness that defined the playtime of our ancestors.